All right, this is the my presentation on the blue whales, which is the animals believed we should save. Now, why should we save the blue whales? Of all the animals that are out there, blue whales are an endangered species, and they're one of the only creatures that can help every other species, not only just ocean species, but also land animals, birds, and us as humans. They help take care of every other species on the planet, including ourselves. So, what are some of the benefits that we have of saving? The first one is our ecosystem. Blue whales produce phytoplankton in the form of their bowel movements. Because of the size of the whales and the bowels they produce, it is a great start to the food chain and feeds all life forms in the ocean and of all pyramids of the food chain, allowing for greater habitat and more species growth. Another benefit that we have is the carbon control. Each whale can hold around 33 tons of carbon per year in their body, which in equivalence is about 1.7 trillion trees. Therefore, the whales play a significant part in helping us fight climate change, and whales are helping maintain and make a safe living space for the planet. In addition, when the blue whales die, they sink to the bottom and provide plant-like phytoplankton living on the ocean floor the ability to convert carbon into sugars that feed more marine ecosystems, thereby helping feed more food chains. Another great benefit that we have is the economic value. Everyone wants money and to spend as little as possible on things like taxes. For many coastal towns, the main stream of revenue for the town is whale watching, especially here in California. Not only do whales take in the carbon that we breathe, but they also work for us, and they allow us to raise money that we can use for facilities and services. One of the largest cities here in California is Monterey, with its bay that helps bring in a ton of revenue with whale watching. Now, if they are solved, one of the greatest things that they can do is restoring the population. By restoring the population, we are allowing whales to be stronger and more adapted to the environment. Therefore, after the population has recovered, our help is no longer needed because they can survival of the fittest, where they will begin to adapt to the environment and they will be able to grow on their own without needing help and support from us. In addition, the ecosystem, like I had mentioned before, by restoring the population, more phytoplankton can be produced, helping more species grow and allowing for other ocean species that could be endangered no longer will become endangered with the excess of food and resources for that species. The blue whale can prevent other species from becoming endangered, and that's one of the greatest uh, benefits of saving the blue whales is the long-term benefits of it. In addition, another long-term benefit is the climate change. With more whales, it means more carbon intake, which means more ocean species growth, meaning a healthier ocean and air for all animals, including us. So, with that understanding, though, then we have to ask ourselves, why haven't we done anything about this? What are the benefits, but also the disadvantages to it? One of the biggest disadvantages is the shipping and fishing route. This is the biggest root of why nothing has happened. Money. Implementing restrictions on ship speeds and routing them to avoid migration areas means a lot of extra hours and few bucks. Means a lot of extra hours used to get shipping containers and things where they need to go, and a few more bucks in gas. Both, with many large corporations, are the core reason that this change has not been made. The same principle can be applied to fishing as well. Fishing is such a profitable industry for many that restricting what they can fish and where they can fish can impact economies of it. One of the other things is the displacement of conservation efforts. There's only so much funding that can be given to endangered species, and for many people, blue whales are not on the top of that list. Blue whales are substantially important, and there are much more species that, however, need way more support than blue whales. The population of blue whales is slowly on the rise again. But there are other species that need this funding even more. But it's not to say blue whales don't need any funding at all. Another environmental risk is the ecosystem imbalance. Raising the whale population substantially, very quickly, could change the food pyramid of other species negatively. Therefore, saving blue whales requires careful consideration, all of which takes time and money. So let's say we don't do anything about it and the whales begin to go extinct. What is the worst case scenario? Obviously, extinction will be one of the biggest cases of it. For blue whales, they survive with each other. And when the population reaches a low point, even if there are a few blue whales around, they lose their ability to function well and thrive in the environment. There has to be a large, diverse population for blue whales to thrive. Another one is the ocean ecosystem collapse. As I mentioned earlier, blue whales produce phytoplankton in the form of their bowels. Because of the size of the whales and the bowels they produce, it is a great start to the food chain and feeds all life forms in the ocean, allowing for greater habitats. When blue whales are gone, the start of the food chain is gone, meaning food for all species in the entire food pyramid will begin to collapse, meaning more species will become endangered. And one of the biggest reasons will be the cost to preserve them. Due to the complexities of blue whales' habitats and reproduction, careful care and lots of knowledge must be taken to ensure a good outcome. This means a lot of time and money. For many people, it just isn't too much to pay. However, when we look at it, according to NOAA, it'll cost roughly $100 billion annually. Now, that may seem like a lot of money, but when you think about it, it's really just $13 per person per year spread out across the globe. That's pretty much just one In-N-Out burger right there. So then we have to ask ourselves, is it feasible to save them? Now, with the understanding of the pros and cons, is it feasible to save blue whales? And the answer is yes. Without a doubt, it is feasible to save them. But its theory is one great thing, but how are we going to actually do this? Well, what we're going to do is we have to restrict shipping regulations. And this is the biggest solution that will have the greatest impact, but it is also going to be the hardest solution to implement. I would much rather pay a few extra bucks and wait a few extra hours to get my package from Amazon if that means the carbon-absorbing animals that allow me to breathe get to live. But many people may not agree with that theory. The same policy can also be applied to enhanced fishing gear regulations. For many years, people used to hunt blue whales, and because they have become endangered, it is illegal to hunt blue whales. As a result, the population is slowly on the rise again, but we can help them grow with more regulations and changes in shipping routes and fishing procedures to help grow the blue whale population much quicker and more sustainable, and also cheaper because it will not take as long to grow the blue whale population. It would be a short-term pain, but then a long-term success. And then our global cooperation, noise, and pollution. Blue whales help us with our carbon footprint, taking in more carbon dioxide than we can even fathom. Yet we dump our garbage, sewage, and pollution all into the water. Blue whales allow us to breathe fresh, clean air at a rate comparable to trees. What person would ever allow someone else to dump garbage on them and then try and hunt that person down? Why would we go out and make the blue whale's home a noisy, polluted area when they help us? Blue whales play a prominent role in the ecosystem of all other species and the food chain, as well as the fresh air that we breathe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We literally owe our lives to blue whales. Therefore, we should treat their lives with the respect and care that they deserve. Now, this is the sources that I have used. One of the most prominent sources here is NOAA, as well as the Marine Mammal Commission, the Internal Monetary Fund, and then StopKillingWhales.com.